We're back at the green garage, which can only mean one thing. We're doing something on the red Mini. So why don't you come and have a look, because it's going to be quite an interesting one, this one. And it's going to be interesting to the level of where we're not just going to be changing a few things aesthetically on the car, it's going to be getting a new heart. And I'm going to discuss that more in depth in a minute.
Yep, that's right, this Mini is getting a brand new engine. But before we get to that, we've got to tackle this Mark 1 bootlid that I've been struggling to get a paint match on. Hopefully, we've finally cracked it.
So you'll notice there's something missing from the red little baby of mine. And I mentioned this in other episodes, I wanted the Mark 1 bootlid fitting on the car and I couldn't get a paint match. It seems I've got a paint match and I'm only going off a cardboard spray out that we've checked and it looks perfect. And when I bring the bootlid in a second, I'm hoping it matches this red. And if it does, we're going to stick it on the car. We've got a reversing light to go on and it's going to just tie in with the Mark 1 lights, all to the Mark 1 bootlid, the fold down plates. And it's going to look the absolute business. So I think we should check and see if this bootlid does match the rest of the car. If it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do other than have the rest of the car resprayed, but I really don't want to do that because the paint is pretty much perfect. So here it is, the moment of truth. I'll offer this bootlid up. I'll let you guys be the judges of it before I've seen it. But just as a bit of background, I think this is the closest we're going to get. We have actually had, I think there was 15 different samples of paint to get this to near where it wants to be. So let's have a look. Got to watch, obviously I don't chip anything, but ever so slightly different. In different lights it looks the same. When you look directly onto it, it looks slightly different. But the beauty of this is, if it doesn't work, we're going to re-lacquer all the back end of the car to try and blend it. But for what it's worth, I'm going to stick it on because I'm fed up of looking at this thing without a bootlid and without that arse to appreciate. That's a bit weird, but we'll go with that. Gently does it, mate. I need you to help me with that other side. I just want to, if you get the edge of it, not that, just let me, you got it supported, yeah?
Yeah,
Just rest it on them screws, that's all. Oh, what's that? Mate, look at that. That is a perfect.
Yeah, it is.
The colour?
Yeah, it's spot on, that.
Oh my God. When you work out of more than one garage, you tend to have a problem to forget things. So the boot handle is on the old bootlid in my other garage, and so are the screws to screw into the side of it. So now I'm confident that this looks semi-decent. I think I'm gonna have to jump in the truck and go and grab those bits. Oh, I'm happy with that. That looks sexual.
It is.
Doesn't it? It's there, it looks perfect.
It is spot on.
Right, I don't recommend this. Putting a towel on the top of your nice and shiny roof and then putting these heavy little bits and putting pressure on. But sadly, we don't have a big garage. We're just making use of what we got. The bootlid, I'll be honest, come on, it fits absolutely perfect. The colour is pretty much bang on. And I think it's about the best I'm going to get for what I paid for that to be sprayed. This is the fold down number plate. We're going to put these brackets on, screw it to the bootlid, and then basically it should look nice and saucy. From what we've gathered, this goes on here. It was a bit stiff with the paint. So I'm just going to push it through. That comes on nice and neat. Flip it over. Again, I'm watching because that bolt, if that goes through, it's going to chip the roof. No pressure. Little like jagged edge washers. Don't know the actual correct terminology for them, but then again, go with the flow. Put those on, spin the bolts on, and then this should put the number plate light straight onto the boot lid plate, number holder thing, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'll get this on and we'll throw it onto the back of the car.
Bolting shiny new bits onto a car is a therapeutic task, and I'm sure many of you will agree. The frustrating side to this is the damage that you can cause with just a simple slip of a screwdriver, so taking your time is key. After all, you wouldn't want to ruin all the previous hard work it's took to get to this stage of the build.
So now the bootlid's on and the flappy number plate, it's about time we fitted the rear spotlight, and this is going to act as a reversing light. It's a genuine Lucas one that's going to go here, but unfortunately it involves drilling a freshly painted panel. So we're going to have to use masking tape, pilot bits and just hope to God the paint doesn't blister. The only saving grace is we can touch it up, and it does have quite a large rubber gasket to cover the hole. So let's get that done.
Drilling freshly painted panels is something I'd never recommend, and in this case I kind of had no option, as the rear spot lamp was an afterthought, and looking back, hindsight is a beautiful thing. So to try and minimise any chances of the paint blistering around the hole, I'm about to drill in stages, starting with a 3mm bit, then a 5mm, then a 6, then an 8, and finishing with a 12. This will also ensure that the hole is drilled perfectly in line with a pencil mark, as a bigger drill tends to slip around without a pilot hole or centre punch first. If you're like me, the thought of metal touching metal makes me cringe. So what I'm about to do here is make a gasket washer to go between the metal washer and the body panel. And with all that said, check this out. Beautiful.
Right, so it's fitted. A month-long task that I've been putting off because I've been so busy with work. We've got the rear fog lamp that will act as a reversing light once I've wired it up. That's another task for another day. We've got the folding boot lid that's on, and then the only thing I need to do now is actually get a new boot trim made from Optimize. And I've been in talks with Andy about this, and I need to get it done because I want the car to look nice and back at how it was when it hit its first show in Bingley Hall nearly 3 years ago. So that's that done. I've got the arches to change. But that brings me to say that this car is getting a brand spanking new engine. It's getting a 1380, and we're hoping to be hitting between 95 foot-pounds of torque and between 85 and 90 horsepower. It's being built by a bloke called Paul Jeffries, and if you join in the next episode, you'll see exactly what's going on and how this engine's coming together and just the specs that we're going for. So with all that said, see you later.